All right, I'm going to get us started. Hi, everyone, and welcome. Thank you for joining us today for Sell Smarter using Relationship Management in Business Central. We're excited to have you here. My name is Avery, and I will be your moderator today. Joining me is Marlene, one of Innovia's senior application consultants. Before we get started, I have a few housekeeping items. All attendees are currently on mute, but if you have any questions during the session, please drop them into the Q&A panel at the bottom of your Zoom screen. We'll be monitoring those throughout and we'll address as many as we can during the Q&A portion at the end. We'll go ahead and get started. I'll turn it over to Marlene to walk us through today's session.
Thank you, Avery. Thank you, everyone, for joining. Today is all about uncovering relationship management tools that you already own in your Business Central. So if I haven't, for any of those who I have not met, my name is Marlene Mankin. I've been with Innovia since 2014. I've worked on NAV/BC since 2005. I have over 30 years ERP experience in management, support, and implementations. I am so excited to see what you already own in BC with regards to relationship management. So my husband said, maybe I should start off with a joke. So here it goes. Why did the Scarecrow get an award?
Why?
Because he was outstanding in his field. A little Muppet joke there. So let's get started. I'm going to go ahead and first share with you a couple of my favorite quotes. One of them is, people don't like to be sold, but they love to buy. And I don't know about anyone out there, but that's exactly me. I love to buy things, but I don't like to be sold to. The other one is, make a customer, not a sale. Business Central supports relationships, not just transactions. So it's important to build those relationships. So today we're going to be discussing contacts, questionnaires, interactions, opportunities. We're going to go through the add-on for Outlook, which is a lot of fun. And then throughout, I am going to cover different AI pieces that Microsoft has put into Business Central with Copilot and analysis views. So we're going to start off with contacts because contacts are the basis of relationship management. Let's head to Business Central. So we're going to start off with contacts. I'm going to go into the contact table. And now a lot of people are already using contacts. If you're not using contacts and you open up the contact page, you're going to see that they're sorted different than number by number. They're sorted by company, and then underneath it are all the persons that are belong to that company. So they're really sorted by company name. So it's a little different than other lists. There are some fields that I like to show and point out that directly ties to some of the things that you might want to track in marketing. If we go to the contact person, or I'm sorry, the contact company, you'll see in related, you've got industry groups. So Microsoft has added, and they've had this there for a while, industry group codes that you can add to the company. Now, this table itself is you build it yourself. It doesn't come from Microsoft build. As you need an industry group, you can add it to the table. But I do always recommend to my customers that they meet and decide on what those industry groups are going to be that they want to track, and not allow everyone to just add them at any time. So that way it's controlled and you know what you want to filter on and possibly report on. I'm going to scroll over to a person contact. You're going to see person contact, and that's how it ties it to the company name. There is a field also in the related contact person area job responsibilities. Job responsibilities are just like the industry groups, where this is a table that you build yourself. You decide what job responsibility codes you want. And then when someone's creating the contact, they can add the job responsibility. One additional field I want to point out is organizational level. That's on the general tab on the person contact. And this could be like CFO, CEO, manager. Again, this is a table that you built, so you can have it say anything you'd like it to be. I have found over the years that many times people will use one or the other on the person contact. They'll either use job responsibility or they'll use organizational level. I've only had a few customers who've literally used both, which is great. What you want to do is not create too much work for your sales or your customer service people. I want to point out another thing on the screen. You'll see the summary. This is part of the AI stuff that Microsoft has added. Literally, if you go into your Business Central right now, you'll probably see it with nothing listed under it until you click summary. And once you click summary, it literally goes ahead and looks at the person. So it's turned on for the person contacts, and any new contacts that you go into, it'll pull up something different regarding that contact. It takes a little minute because it's looking at the data every single time. So you could see there that how many opportunities, calculated value. Same thing on the company. It's a little different because it's going from the company. So it would look at all of the opportunities that were with all the people that you have as contacts. The next thing I want to show you on the screen that is a lot of fun to play with. It is actually this analysis mode. And maybe you've already used it, but if you haven't, it is a very exciting tool. As you can see, as soon as you clicked that box, it puts it in analysis mode. And it puts it almost like a spreadsheet. And I don't know about anyone else, but I love working on spreadsheets. It makes it much easier. The nice thing about this is that to personalize it, you can just move things around. You can also uncheck things that you don't want on there. Maybe you don't want the email. So over here, it's almost like a pivot table where you can add or remove fields. At any point, you can go back to your original view. And when you go back in, it'll refresh it. This is the piece that makes it very usable. I don't know if you saw what I clicked on, but you click on this analysis and you ask it to create something for you. So we're going to say, create a list of contacts with opportunities. And then we're just going to generate it. So Copilot is going out and is trying to figure out what you want, and it's going to try to build something for you. So we'll see what it comes up with. Always a little surprise. So it created contacts, and these contacts have opportunities. Now you'll notice down here, it says you can keep it, or you can discard it, or you can add more details in here. So if you want the Copilot to go ahead and add more details for you, you can. I'm going to put add the total opportunity amount. And I just click enter on it, and it's going to try to pull it. So notice what it did. I'm going to keep it so that we can play with it a little bit more. But notice what it did for me. It went ahead and it brought in the opportunity code, and it brought in the possible estimated value. Now over here, you can actually move some things around, or I like having the contact number. So I'm going to re-add that so that way on the same table that we just built, you can drill into to the contact card, which makes it nice. Anything in blue, of course. You can move things around. It also has filters over here. So you have filter and the analysis view. And you could go ahead and do a filter if you wanted to on possibly the salesperson code. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pull in the salesperson code, and up here at the top where the 3 lines are, you can click on that. You can say add columns from. Now this is huge. So Microsoft went through and they tied a lot of tables automatically for you so that you don't have to work hard at it. We're going to go to the salesperson because who knows the code is, but I am going to pull in the name because we know the salesperson's name. And now we've got the salesperson's name. I'm going to remove the code. And now what I'm going to do is you'll see the groups and the values here. I'm going to pull, it turns into a hand. I'm going to pull it down into rows. So now I've just created a list of all my salespeople and what opportunities they have going on. Now, the nice thing is that this holds on. So the next time you come in, it's there. If we close it and go back into it, it's still there. We can right click on it. We can duplicate it and make changes to it if you want different views of this. You could go ahead and we already did the add columns. You can share it. You can copy the link and you can send it to someone via email. They can open it as long as they have rights to Business Central. You could create another view. So you've got many things that you can do. And one other thing you could do here is you could rename it if you don't like what it named it for you. So that's pretty huge for me. So let's go into, I want to go into the customers and just show you a little bit on the customers. You have the same capability on the customers. So down here again, if I went ahead and said create customer phone list. So I'm going to create a customer phone list for myself. And this isn't bad. I'll keep it. And I'm going to move some things around. I really don't want the phone number as first. And I do want the customer's number. I like the customer's number so I can drill into it. So now you've created yourself a little phone list. I can uncheck the responsibility and location, not needed. So now we have a little customer phone list. I love that piece. It's a lot of fun to play around with it. And I recommend if you're MVC right now, you can do it on any list format. So we have covered company and person contacts, the job responsibility, industry groups, and some built-in analytics and views. Questionnaires are the next thing I wanted to cover. This is probably one of the most underused relationship management tools, but it can be very powerful. There are person and company questionnaires. We're going to look at the automatic questionnaire. So let's go back into our Business Central. And we're going to call it questionnaires. And it's questionnaire setup. So we are going to look at how the company questionnaire is set up. And you'll notice it's just a question and answers. So you can ask any kind of question you'd want for a company. And then these would be the answers. The difference in the person one, of course, there's going to be different questions, but you can flag multiple answers. So the one under hobby when you get to the person contact, you can actually start flagging multiple answers. We'll come back to the customer one. So let's go into contacts, and we're going to open up a company. So here's Alpine Ski House. We're going to go to contact and then profiles. Now in profiles, we could go ahead and select, okay, they have 1 to 99 employees. It's family run, and I don't really care about the last question. So I'm going to close it. Now what that does is it starts building information on your contact card. So you'll notice down here, company ownership, family, number of employees, 1 to 99. So it starts building data on the contact card so that way you can have all the information in front of you as you meet or call your contact. So let's go to a person with Alpine, Ian. And we're going to go into the same area. And we're going to say, he loves football and golf and other outdoor activities. He's married. He has children. You could add anything like pets, anything like that. So if we look down here now, we're seeing that information about Ian. So let's go back to our questionnaire. And this time, we're going to talk about the automatic questionnaire. You'll notice when you look at this one, it's tied into the customer business relation code. So that tells you right now, you could also set up one for your vendor table where you'd have the vendor business relationship. We're going to go into edit. These are a little bit different. You have your question and you have your answers, but you'll notice that auto contact classification is flagged and it has ranges in here. So like the top 25 customers. And these Microsoft built as an example in Cronus here, but I added one so that I could show you how I built it. A lot of times my customers like to build a ranking or a level of their customer. So I built this to show you. We would go into create the question, go into line and question details. We would flag the auto contact classification. And on any of these automatic classifications, you can choose what you want to look at. So whether it's sales, profit, you've got discounts. Discounts could be pretty eye-opening. Like the highest discounts you give out for a customer, that would be pretty interesting. We're going to stick with sales, and then you add a formula. Now, I'm not going to want to go back to the beginning of time. I only want to rank my customers for the last 2 years. So this formula is current year minus 2 years plus 1 day. So that's 2 years back, and then the ending is current year. So now that we've defined that, in here, the answers you define with ranges. So anyone over 50,000 in sales would show up as an A level. And then we've got the B level, the C level. And the only thing that's a little quirky is you do have to have a 1 in this level or someone's not bought anything. Otherwise, it will give you an error. To run the classification, all you do is update classification, click OK, and it goes ahead and runs it. You'll notice over here, after it does it, it actually defines who qualified in that range. So here we got this one. It's the same customer because, of course, they're buying a lot of stuff. We've got a few of these here that are the D levels, not bought as much. When I have people set up these these automatic classification questionnaires, what I find is that usually you run them once a year or maybe twice a year, because you're not going to want to run them on a daily basis. You're gonna want to go back 2 years. So the data doesn't change that often, but they usually run it once a year to classify their customer for that year. So if we go back to, let's go into Alpine Ski House. Remember, it's on the customer table. So it's going to look at the company contact, and you'll notice all of these that came through ranked level D. So it's literally building data for you that you can have at your hands to be able to evaluate or discuss with your customer information. People have asked me in the past, why would you use a company? How would you utilize them? I did have one customer, and it was very interesting how they used the company questionnaires. They went ahead and set up company questionnaires. Now they cannot sell to just anyone. The companies that request to be their customer have to qualify. So if someone called out of the blue and said, I want to purchase from you, the receptionist would go ahead and she would fill out basic information on the company, like a phone number, the company name, and the contact, and then go ahead and do the company questionnaire. And on that company questionnaire, she would know whether they qualify to be a customer of theirs. And if they qualify, then she could go ahead and assign them to a salesperson and tell the person that they'd have, Jim call them back. So I thought that was very creative and way of utilizing it. Okay, so we covered that example, that ranking example. We covered automatic classifications and the person and the company questionnaires. We're going to go to interactions next. Interactions are just touch points to your customer. What interactions do is it starts to build your history, your follow-up history, your sales consistency. It can remind your salesperson of what was discussed last time when he or she spoke with the lead or the contact. So we're going to go in, let's go in and let's do Carolyn. Actually, we'll do Tracy. So it's really easy. From the contact card, you just open up the contact card, you create an interaction. It pulls up my contact, and then I can say I sent her an email. I could say she called me. There's this full list of interactions. And in the workshop for relationship management, we cover how to build these and how they actually operate. But Business Central comes with a baseline of these so that way you can start using them right away. I'm just going to say incoming phone. Now on the description, we could change the description. It defaults to what that says, but we're going to change the description. So Tracy would like a quote. Just adjust this a little bit. There we go. Now on this also, you can pop open comments and make comments on what she wants. Maybe she wants pricing. This is Cronus. She wants pricing on a desk and a chair. You can make notes there, and then you can hit next. You can tie interactions to campaigns. You can tie them to opportunities. You can hit next. It comes up with your description. You can even add more of a description to it, and then you just evaluate it. I'm going to say it's very positive. On here, you can see history, interaction logs. So what it starts to do is it starts to build your interaction logs. But if we were to go also to the salesperson table. Some people like to work off of the salesperson table. So we'll go into Jim. So there's two ways you can work off the contact table, or you can work off the salesperson table. And in here, you're going to see interaction logs also. So you'd have all your interaction logs with all of your customers. So that would be, or all your contacts, that would be the difference. If you're on a contact, of course, it's going to filter to that contact. If you're in your salesperson interaction logs, it's going to show all of your contacts. And also from here, you can create an interaction. The only difference from here is you'd have to specify which contact it's for. So two different ways of looking at your contacts. And then probably most people already know this piece of it where you can add filtered lists. So I can just look at my contacts. If I prefer working off the contact list, I can just have my contacts up. And just in case someone is in the audience who's never done that, it's pretty easy to do. You're going to go ahead and show the filter. You're going to add a filter, and maybe on salesperson code, I don't know who I don't have it. I don't think I have Linda. I have Linda added. Who do I have? I don't have Helena. Well, Helena has no contacts. But if I were adding this as a list, I'd filter on Helena, and then I hit the three dots, do a save as, and then I'd say, so then I'd have Helena's. So then you can go back to all, and it drops down up here also. I have seen with one company I worked with, the sales manager did this with all of his sales reps, and then that way he could filter out each of their contacts each time and look at them and have them up if he had meetings. So that made it really nice. We will close this. So we've gone through emails, calls, visits, things that you can log, and it creates a history. The nice thing about Business Central, a lot of people say interactions, it takes too much time. I don't want my sales reps to waste their time. Totally understand. What I have found with Business Central is you don't have to do every piece of the relationship management. You don't have to do the interactions. Maybe you're more concerned at having opportunities and the leads and the contacts, and you don't really care about interactions. That's perfectly fine. Later on, I will show you that Business Central actually starts logging some of it automatically for you, which is really nice. So we're going to loop back to opportunities now. And this one I recorded because I tend to run a little long, and I know we only have an hour. So keep up with my recording. So we're going to talk about opportunities. You can add an opportunity from the contact. You can add it from the salespeople. You can also add it from the opportunity card. We are going to look at the opportunity card. So we click on new. We're creating a new opportunity. We're going to put in a description. We're going to select a contact number, and we're selecting a contact number because we're doing it off the opportunity card, not off the contact. It would automatically fill in if you were doing it off the contact. I'm going to go with Ian since we've already talked about him a little bit. Then you choose a salesperson, and you choose a sales cycle. In here I have new and existing, so I have two cycles. The cycles are important. We're going to go with existing, and then I'm going to show the details on it. So in a sales cycle, you have what's called stages. So we're going to open up the stages. And in the existing, we have 4 stages: initial, presentation, proposal, and signed contract. Then there's a column that allows you to show percentage complete. So in the initial, we'd consider it only 2%. In the presentation, we would consider it already at 50% complete. Chances of success, you put the percentage there of success. So by the time you had signed contract, it's 100%. Also, there's a column called quote required. So when you hit that stage, it's going to require a quote. Allow skip gives you the ability, if it's not needed, if those tasks are not needed, you can skip it. So now we'll swing back to account activity code. I'm going to show you the details. The activity code has the actual tasks in it. So you've got the tasks, verify the quality of the opportunity, identify key persons, and you'll notice you can add date formulas to these. So it's 1 week later is the identify key persons is due. We go to a second one, which has more details in it. So you can see here there's 4 tasks. One of them is a phone call even. Now we'll go back, and what we'll do is start this opportunity. So we're going to go ahead and activate the first stage. And it creates a line for you. Just an initial line with the date. It doesn't have any estimate in it. It just says 2%. So you've got it started. Now, say we know an estimated value. You go up to update, and you're going to go ahead and instead of doing next, you're going to go ahead and update. So it keeps you on that first stage. Put in the estimated sales value. And it automatically changes your chances of success. So now we've got a second line which shows that value, that estimated value. In opportunity to tasks, you're going to go ahead and see the tasks. We're going to go ahead and edit one to close it. We've completed this first task. So now it's closed. It allows you to do an interaction log. We're going to say no, but you could do an interaction log at that point. We're going to leave the second one open because I want to show you a little bit of the feature. Now we're going to start the second stage. So we're going to go to next stage, and you see it shows sales cycle 2. We now have an estimated closing date from the customer, so I updated that. And then we're going to check cancel existing open tasks. Very important. I do that automatically, even if I don't think I have any tasks open, just so it keeps your data clean. Click OK. And we'll go back. Now, notice it's created the second line for us. And now it has the new estimated close date. We're going to go up to our tasks. And now it added those extra tasks. But you see what it did to the one that we left in the initial stage? It canceled it, marked it as canceled, and closed it. So we're filtering on open tasks. So all you're seeing right now is open tasks. I'm going to go to the salesperson card again, and we'll go down to Joe, or actually Jim-O. And we're going to go to related and tasks. So this also on their salesperson card, if they prefer working out of it, they have a list of their tasks, their to-dos. This is their to-do list. And you have it sorting by date so that they know when they need to get things done. You'll notice on the right-hand side, it has multiple opportunities, so it might be different contact numbers too. So rather than working out the opportunity, you can work out of the salesperson tasks. We're going to go back to the main page, and I want to point out to you how it starts to build a sales pipeline. This is a base profile and role. Also gives you a salesperson pie chart, so you can see what's going on, top 5 opportunities, and then a Power BI section where you can add additional reports on your own. At the top, you're going to notice there are opportunity queues listed also. So we went through opportunities. Sales cycles are very important. Some people usually know their sales cycles, sometimes they don't. If I can recommend anything for you to do after you leave here, is if you do not know what your sales cycle is or sales cycles, sometimes you may have one, you may have five, you may have 10, is to start documenting what your sales cycles are. That will help you no matter what relationship management system you go into. Stages, we went through stages and activities and the tasks, which become the to-do list. And then we went through some of the built-in views. Actually, we're going to go into that next. Let me go back there. So I'm going to get back to opportunity list. Oops. Search. And in here, I want to show you, I've already built a few for us. So once I click on that little box, I've got one that's one opportunities. So these are all the opportunities that you won. You could do one with loss. And what I did here is I added a filter on status. So I wanted only the status of the ones that were won. You could actually even do a status of ones not started and ones in progress. That would be your active ones. Maybe you'd want to make that do multiple views, one of active, one of ones, and one of lost. And then you can analyze the lost ones to see why you lost them. Because when you lose an opportunity, it gives you the ability to put a reason. The other one I did was the estimated value and key details. So it's just another one to list the opportunity and the estimated value. So a lot of cool things you can do, a lot of different ways to analyze your data, especially as you're building your opportunities and your pipeline. Now I'm excited to show you this piece, the Outlook piece. We're going to go ahead and do a recording on this one too, and keep up with the recording. Okay, so we're in Outlook. We get an email from Rebecca. Rebecca wants a quote of a lamp and a whiteboard. I'm going to go ahead and click on the Contact Insights box. It's going to pull open Business Central for me. It's going to come up and it's going to say, oh, I don't find Rebecca. Do you want to view existing contacts? Because maybe she's listed in Business Central as Becky. Or is it am I looking at the wrong company? But no, it's not the wrong company and she doesn't exist yet. So we're going to add Rebecca as a contact. When you add a person as a contact, you can tie them to a company that you already have, company/customer. So we're going to go and we're going to add her to a company and we're going to tie her to the School of Fine Art. Everything looks good there and we're going to hit check. Now it's added Rebecca to the School of Fine Art, and you can see it pulled up the company for us. So you can see that they have a past due amount. You can drill in and look at what ongoing posted invoices they have that they possibly owe. So this is really nice because you can actually do this while you're on the road and talk to the customer. But what she's looking for is a quote. So we're going to work on a quote for her. So we'll go to the three dots. We're going to go down to sales quote, new document. And this is cool. Business Central tries to go through this and find the items that you might be looking for. So it found 3 items, and the first 2 are the ones that Rebecca is looking for. There's the lamp and the whiteboard. So we're going to check them and say, okay. Now, normally you'd put your quantity in here. I'm going to leave it blank on purpose. so that I can show you another feature or another place to check. If we scroll down, here's the quote. There's a quote number. If we scroll down, it has the items that we're looking for, but notice the dollar amount is 0. That right there is a key flag that you forgot to put the quantity in. So you can put the quantity in here if you want. You can even add another item if you want to at this point. It is just a quote at this point. Now we're going to go ahead and email it to her. So we can send the email. It's going to pop up with an email template. It's got Rebecca's email address there. It has an attachment of the quote. You could go ahead and personalize it more if you wanted to, and click send. If we went to our sent in Outlook, we would see that we sent her the quote. If we go to Business Central and we go ahead and go to our contacts, we'll go down to our School of Fine Art and Rebecca. Now Rebecca is in the database where she wasn't before. If we go to contact and sales quotes, we can see the quote that we sent her. If we scroll down, we can see it's building a history. This is where it's automatically doing that history for you when we sent out a quote. Also, if you go to related history, it creates an interaction automatically for you. I'm going to go back to Outlook, and we're going to pretend that Rebecca emailed us back and said, "This quote is great. Please place the order." So we're going to go to our contact insights. Now it should find her in the School of Fine Art. We're going to go to ongoing quotes, open up that quote, make sure it looks good. You may want to make sure it looks good, and then we're going to make it an order. And it updates it as an order number, and now we're going to email it to her. Notice it is telling us there's not enough available inventory, and it also will give you the same warnings it gives in Business Central that they're past due. But we're going to email it to her. Pop up, and now this time I am going to change the description because it's not a quote anymore. It's an order confirmation. The order's attached. Everything looks good. We're going to send. And now if I go back to Business Central, if we look at the sales quotes for Rebecca, they're no longer there because there's no sales quote. Now it's an order. So if we go up to customer, and we scroll down to get to ongoing sales orders, we should be able to see there's the order that we just did with her whiteboard and her lamp. So that is pretty exciting there. So we created a quote from email. Business Central found the items for us. We were able to email her directly from there with the quote attached. We were able to turn it into an order. And the whole time it was building interaction and email list of history on the customer. I think it's pretty exciting. So the last piece I want to just talk about is all the AI-driven Copilot, the areas that Microsoft has added to BC to allow us to analyze the data better and faster. It summarizes on the customers of contacts. We saw that. When you do search, it searches on natural language, but at the same time, when you're building that an analyst view or the separate views, you can type in whatever you want. It can be a long sentence of things that you want. It's going to try to create it for you, and then you may just need to tweak it or put the columns in the order you want to see it. And then, of course, there's opportunity and pipeline visibility that they've added, so that's on a role center / profile. Some areas that we didn't get to cover today, it was hard to decide what to cover in 1 hour, is segments and campaigns. Segments are kind of grouped together contacts that you can email all at the same time. I've had people do emails for like golf outing. That's one of the practice sets that we do in the workshop. And then campaigns. So your campaign might have special prices. So if someone buys something during that campaign, it applies a different price on the item for you. Customer templates and salutations, and then the marketing setup, which is probably the beginning part of relationship management. Those are all covered in the workshop. So I wanted to give you another one of my favorite quotes. Remember that technology enables relationships. It does not replace them. Business Central, to have a successful implementation, it's important for it to become a tool to your sales reps and not a burden. That's so important.
As a reminder to everyone, please visit our resources page where you can find more upcoming webinars, on-demand webinars, case studies, and blogs. Please reach out if you need any help, and we look forward to seeing you at a future Innovia webinar.